And now news you may have missed. Last week, Frank Bulger, his wife Karen, and granddaughter Autumn were visiting Wildwood Beach on the southeastern tip of New Jersey. The family was cleaning up trash on the beach when they found a tiny bottle in some seaweed at the water's edge. They retrieved the bottle and could see that this bottle had a piece of paper in it. The bottle's cork was jammed too tightly for them to get it out on the beach. They put this bottle aside and kept picking up trash. When they got home, Frank wrestled the cork from the bottle. He took out the note and read, "Greetings from Ireland. I have thrown this bottle into the sea for someone to find another day. Maybe it's traveled down to Africa or to Iceland. I won't know if someone found this, but I hope it is found." The note was dated July 17th, 2019, and signed Aoife. Frank shared the story with the Wildwood Sun by the Sea magazine, which posted photos of the message on its Facebook page. There was little hope that they would find the note's author. Well, news travels fast in our modern society. Frank's discovery went viral online and was picked up by several news sources around the world. Numerous news outlets from Ireland contacted Frank to get more details about the story. In Bray, Ireland, Aoife's father was watching the local news when the news story came on about Frank's discovery. He called Aoife into the room. They watched the news story in disbelief. Aoife contacted Frank via email, but Frank was skeptical, as is understandable. He requested that Aoife provide pictures and writing samples, which Aoife quickly provided. After 1,500 days and more than 3,000 miles, Aoife's bottle left the Emerald Shore and was found on a Jersey shore. Wildwood is one of the most populous regions in the state for Irish Americans. Frank and his family are considering making a trip to Ireland. Frank said, "We already have a place to stay." In Moorhead, Michigan, 14-year-old Connor Halsa went fishing on Lake of the Woods this past week. Lake of the Woods is known as the walleye capital of the world. The lake has over 65,000 miles of shoreline and is the sixth largest freshwater lake in the United States after the Great Lakes. It's the 36th largest lake in the world. The point I'm trying to make here is that it's huge. Well, Connor cast his line into a spot in the water that was about 20 feet deep and waited. Suddenly, he felt a tug at his line. Connor thought he had a huge fish, probably a walleye, so he set the hook hard. He did not want to lose this catch. He reeled in his line. There was something on his hook, but it wasn't the monster fish that he was expecting. It wasn't a walleye, but a wallet. That's right, Connor had snagged a man's wallet. He opened the soaked wallet and found $2,000 in cash. Well, you know what they say, finders keepers, losers weepers? Not Connor. He kept looking through the wallet and found the name and address of the wallet's owner, a farmer named Jim Denny. Connor's family called the farmer. Farmer Jim was taken aback that his wallet had been found. He lost it last year while fishing in the lake and assumed it was lost forever. The odds of hooking a wallet in 20 feet of water in a lake with 65,000 miles of shoreline must be of astronomical proportions. Farmer Jim drove from Cedar Rapids to Moorhead, a distance of more than 500 miles, to retrieve the wallet. He opened the wallet, which the family had left out to dry, and it still contained all of the $2,000. Now, Farmer Jim offered Connor a sizable cash reward for returning the wallet full of money, but Connor politely declined. Finally, after much cajoling, Connor allowed Farmer Jim to present him with a personalized cooler. Farmer Jim also took Connor and his family out to dinner. Farmer Jim said, "I would take Connor as a grandson any day." Now, can you imagine a world where everyone is as honest and good as Connor? We need more Connors in the world. Earlier this month, authorities began searching for an escapee near Blackpool, England. I can only imagine, and I hope I never learn firsthand, what it is like to be behind bars. He had spent most of his lifetime behind bars. Now he was caged no more. Authorities set up a 24-hour hotline, and newspapers and news programs published the escapee's picture. It would only be a matter of time before someone saw him. After 2 weeks on the lam, the escapee was spotted on the beach just 7 miles away. Authorities rushed to the area, but by the time they got there, the escapee had vanished. Then, last Wednesday, the escapee was spotted swimming near a beach 30 miles away. This time, the escapee was unaware that the authorities were on the way. When they arrived, the authorities saw the escapee swimming in the Irish Sea as though he had not a care in the world. But they had no way to safely reach the escapee until a local family loaned them a kayak. They paddled out and the escapee gave them no trouble at all. He is now in quarantine but will soon return behind bars where he would likely spend the rest of his life. Soon he'll be available to see visitors again. You can visit him if you like, just don't expect a warm welcome. He probably won't even acknowledge the fact that you've come to visit him at the Blackpool Zoo. You see, the escapee was a 14-week-old eastern white pelican. But there's more to this story that you should know. The pelican was enjoying the warm sun in his open-top enclosure when a flock of seagulls flew low overhead and spooked him. He tried to fly to the top of a nearby flamingo house, but was carried away by strong winds. That pelican's escape was only an accident. In the summer of 2009, Mike and Tracy Crooning, husband and wife, along with some of their friends, spent the day swimming near Swimmer's Island in Turtle Flambeau Flowage, a lake about 20 miles from their home in Mercer, Wisconsin. As they played in the water, Mike threw the son of one of their friends into the water. As Mike threw him, he felt a slight pressure on his left hand. They all laughed. Mike looked down and his platinum wedding band was missing. When Mike threw the boy grabbed Mike's hand and pulled the ring off his finger. The small splash that the ring would have made was obscured by the larger splash of the child entering the water. They searched for the wedding band and thought it would soon be found. But it wasn't so easy. They brought in diving masks and continued the search. They searched for the rest of that day, and the next day, and the next. Mike and Tracy said they made thousands of trips to the lake to search for the missing platinum wedding band without success. The wedding band was lost. Tracy bought Mike a replacement wedding band. That should have been the end of the story. But a few days ago, a visitor to the area was swimming when he found a platinum wedding band. He turned the ring over to the Turtle Flambeau Flowage and Trude Lake Association to see if they could find the ring's owner. The association posted a picture of the ring on their Facebook page. Within just half an hour, within 30 minutes of posting it, Mike saw the photo. He messaged the association and said it resembled the ring he had lost in 2009. Mike said, "I saw a picture of a ring. It looked just like my ring, and again 14 years later, it was stained with the color of the water." Bill Stewart, who runs the association's Facebook page, asked Mike if he knew what was inscribed on the inside of the ring. Well, Mike knew this by heart. His wife had the title of the song, "It's Your Love," engraved inside the ring along with the date of their wedding. Mike gave Bill the information, but there was a problem. Mike provided the wrong wedding date. Uh-oh. Had Mike forgotten his own wedding date? It happens sometimes. But wait a minute. Mike had not forgotten the dates of his weddings. Notice I said dates, and weddings. Bill asked Mike if there could be another date. Then Mike provided the second date. See, Mike explained that he and Tracy had married twice, once in America and once in Canada. He provided the second date, which was the one engraved inside this ring. Finally, after 14 years, Mike was reunited with his platinum wedding ring. On August 10th, police in Meriden, Connecticut were in a high-speed chase with a vehicle they suspected had been used in armed robberies in several nearby communities just hours earlier. According to the license plate number, the car itself was stolen. The chase came to an abrupt end when the stolen car collided with a patrol car. The suspect fled on foot but was eventually caught and arrested. Policemen searched the car and found something unexpected under one of the seats, a gray and white male kitten. The suspect refused to speak with police even about the kitten. Investigators assumed the cat belonged to the stolen car's owner. They contacted the car's owner, who said the kitten was not theirs. Now, with no other leads on the kitten's owner, Meriden police posted a picture of the kitten on their Facebook page and waited. Numerous people offered to adopt the kitten, but the police were determined to return him to his rightful owner. Finally, they got the tip that solved the mystery, and the kitten was returned to its owner. The owner of the kitten was the suspect's own mother. Now, at about 5 a.m. on Monday, a two-man news crew, which consisted of a photographer and a reporter, were filming a segment in Chicago's West Town neighborhood for the Spanish-language station Univision Chicago. Now, they were reporting on a string of robberies in the community that was slated to run on the morning news. While they were filming, a gray sedan and a black SUV drove up. The news crew were used to people watching them film and continued with their work. 3 armed masked men jumped from the 2 cars and surrounded the news crew. The robbers took personal items from the news crew. Unfortunately for the news crew, the television station, and the West Town neighborhood, the robbers also took the television camera. Inside that camera was the footage which had the potential to identify the persons who were responsible for the string of robberies. Last Wednesday, in Benton City, Washington, a big truck driver was pulling a chemical tanker on Interstate 82. He exited the interstate and drove onto the off-ramp. The driver entered a roundabout just a little too quickly, and his truck and trailer overturned. The driver received only scrapes and bruises, but his tanker trailer was leaking. A chemical leak can be very dangerous. For this reason, trailers carrying dangerous cargo are required to display placards to alert authorities of the possible dangers. In this case, the chemical was only dangerous to humans if he or she consumed too much of the chemical. But that isn't an exact science. One person might withstand a large amount of the chemical with no side effects, while another person might have serious consequences from ingesting only a small amount. In fact, some people would have willingly drank the chemical if they had the chance. But no one was injured by this spill. That spilled chemical was a full tanker load of red wine. Former North Dakota Governor Ed Schaefer was a guest host on a radio show called News and Views in Fargo, North Dakota last Friday morning. He arrived right on time, parked his vehicle in the station's parking lot, and hurried into the building. During the broadcast, the radio station received a call from the Fargo Police Department. They wanted to know if the former governor owned a 2020 GMC Yukon. During a break, the former governor said that he in fact did own a 2020 GMC Yukon. He thought it was a strange question. The policeman explained that his vehicle had been stolen. The former governor reached into his pocket and retrieved his key fob. See, his Yukon had a push-button start which required the key fob to be within just a few feet from the car for it to unlock or start the vehicle. While guest hosting the radio show, the former governor was well beyond the range that the key fob would need to be within to reach the car. The policeman informed the former governor that his vehicle had been stolen, but the thief, possibly overcome with guilt, drove it to the office of his probation officer and surrendered. The policemen were determined to learn how the thief had stolen the car, but it didn't take long to solve this riddle. The policeman found the former governor's spare key fob inside the car. Do you know where your spare key fob is? Joseph Walter, a postal worker in Tacoma, Washington, was delivering the mail when he heard a strange high-pitched sound. Unable to locate the source of the sound, he resumed delivering the mail. On the following day, Joseph heard the same sound again in the same spot. This time, Joseph refused to give up. A few minutes later, he found the source of the strange sound. A kitten had gotten trapped in a small space. Joseph freed the kitten and put her in his shirt pocket. The kitten slept in his shirt pocket the remainder of his shift. By the end of the day, Joseph decided to keep the kitten and named her Peaches. On the way home that evening, Joseph and Peach stopped at a convenience store. Joseph was feeling good about himself and bought a Hit 5 lottery ticket. Joseph and his wife enjoyed the new pet so much that they forgot all about the lottery ticket. Several days later, Joseph remembered the lottery ticket and checked the numbers. Then he checked them again. Then he had his wife check the numbers. That lottery ticket won Joseph $717,500. Maybe, just maybe, Joseph received good karma from rescuing and giving Peaches a new home. In the summer of 2021, Belfast Harbor in Maine had a unique visitor, a giant yellow duck. Drawn on the duck's chest was the word joy. No one was able to determine where the duck came from. Then the duck disappeared in the night as mysteriously as it had arrived. In the summer of 2022, an even larger yellow duck mysteriously appeared in the same harbor. Written on this duck were the words, "Greater Joy." Again, people were unable to determine where the duck came from, and again, the duck disappeared without a trace. Everyone in the area wondered if the duck or ducks would reappear in 2023. They also wondered if they could have been somehow the same duck. Well, that question was answered last week when the two ducks labeled Joy and Greater Joy appeared mysteriously in the harbor again. This time they were accompanied by an even larger duck. Written on his chest were the words, "Greatest Joy." And then sometime during the night, they were gone again. The three ducks of unknown origin have certainly brought a lot of joy and mystery to Belfast Harbor in Maine. Now wait a minute, Brad Dison, what is going on here? Well, see, I neglected to point out that these ducks were large, inflatable rubber duckies. I'm Brad Dison. Thanks for watching News You May Have Missed.